Most men will go their entire lives without ever knowing what it's like to look like this. Now, I know that's going to piss some of you off. Trust me, I realize it seems egotistical. But the reason why I say that is because I've seen how much my own life has changed from being in shape. And it's baffling to me thinking about why someone else wouldn't want to do that. And the reason why is because it's not tangible. It's not something your brain can actually process right now because you haven't actually become that guy yet. With, for example, money, right? It's easy to see because you can remember getting your first paycheck through. You can remember getting that first paycheck through and maybe getting some clothes or having an experience. And your brain basically associates that money with the life that you want, right? And that joy, that freedom, and the feeling that you get when you have money. But your brain can't process right now what it's actually like to become that guy, the guy who's lean, the guy who's muscular, the guy who has his life together and is actually proud of the man that he is every time he looks in the mirror. Your brain can't process that right now because you haven't actually become it yet. But this is what I wanted to talk about on this video today. You become more confident. A lot of guys mistake the confidence for, okay, yeah, you look in the mirror and you feel better, okay? But it's not that at all. It's the confidence you have that goes into every other area of your life that you go into, right? So it might be talking to that girl like at the bar, it might be going into a job interview, and because you have built up that confidence within yourself and you're happy in your own skin, my god, does it make a fucking difference. Like, not just the energy you bring into a room, but also like the opportunities as well that you get. So you could be someone who's ultra rich, you have your yachts, you have your cars and stuff like this, right? But you can't take that into a bar, you can't take that into a restaurant, right? What you take is yourself. And if you walk into the room like the fucking man, that separates you apart from everyone else, and it truly makes you iconic and it makes you stand out. It's so important to realize the confidence isn't just the confidence within yourself and what you see in the mirror, it's also how everything else is impacted as a result of that, because the energy you bring into all these different environments, like no matter what it is, like I said, it could be your job, it could be like that career, the business, it could be relationships, it could be your family life, like with your family, like you just going into rooms, it just becomes so much better for you having that confidence because you know who you are. That is just one element of it. The next is energy, right? Obviously, people say, oh, okay, you have more energy. Like people say, oh, okay, yeah, how much of a difference can it really make? Fuck me, does it make a difference? When you start cleaning up your diet, when you start training, because with that resistance training, with a bit of cardio, obviously your body, like, look, I'm not being funny. You're not fucking stupid. Like, you know that getting in shape is going to unlock more energy for you. The thing is, you've got to realize as well, going to the gym, you don't have to be a meathead. You don't have to be like a full fucking gym, like blown guy like myself, right? The gym is just a tool you can utilize to improve the other areas of your life. Because I'm not being funny, you do not need to be going to the gym fucking 6 times a week, 7 times a week to look like this and to live the best quality of life. You might want to be one of the best artists in the world, okay? That's incredible. If you go to the gym, if you focus on your health and your fitness, you will be able to give more energy into the art. You must be able to see how much of a difference that will make into your mental clarity and like your creativity going forward. Like even myself, for example, like these YouTube videos that I'll make, right? The biggest sparks I have when I have my creativity sparks is when I know like everything else in my life is locked in. If I've been eating shit or if I haven't been training, I'm just going to feel run down. I'm not going to have that creative spark like I would do if I have my sleep nailed, if I have my nutrition nailed, if I have the training in place and all those other bits. Now, the next is people will treat you differently. Everyone likes to say, okay, don't judge a book by its cover, right? But unfortunately, it's human nature. I'm not being funny. You've got to look at it the perspective of, okay, I need to stack as many advantages on my side as possible to give me the best quality of life. So let's say you're a guy who's like fat, who like has bags under his eyes, who isn't well groomed, who doesn't take care of himself, and you go into a job interview, right? They're going to look at you and be like, okay, well, he doesn't look very disciplined. He doesn't look like he works hard. He doesn't look like he actually does anything outside of work. Like he literally just looks like he's going to sort of mope around. But if you go to a guy, right, who is in shape, who looks handsome, who takes care of himself and like, I don't know, has a bit of a tan, is well groomed, actually like it's almost like James Bond, or I don't know, fucking Jabba the Hutt going into like a job interview, right? Now this is like obviously an over exaggeration, but what I mean is, like, if James Bond walks in there, he's smart, he's sophisticated, like, you want to help this guy, or you want to do what you can to be in this guy's life, because it's so true. Like, you will almost have this, like, you fucking see on Instagram and shit these days, aura, right? You will have this aura about you when you are that guy who they actually know he's got something outside of this work, and that means that this is just something that obviously he's doing, but he also has goals of himself, and that makes you so much more respected, not just by job interviews as well, but also girls. Like, if you are like, oh, and I've fucking experienced this before, like, I've been the guy who hasn't been in shape, who hasn't been taking care of himself, is holding on to extra body fat back when I was doing powerlifting, and when I, like, basically I was pasty white, my head looked like a fucking, like the Michelin man, right? My head looked like a marshmallow, and I wasn't getting nowhere near the attention from girls as I would do now. Obviously I've got a beautiful missus, and that wouldn't be the case. But you know, you get the point, right? So just looking better, obviously you're more attractive, you're going to be presented with more opportunities from women, like even just talking to family members, like you are going to be more respected by them, because they're going to be like, okay, my son or my brother or my cousin, whoever it is, right? Yeah, he's the fitness guy, like he's in shape, like he takes care of himself. Imagine the feeling and of pride you will get from people talking about you in a positive way, instead of being like, oh yeah, he's still living under my roof. Like, this might be your parents, like, oh, he's still living under my roof, he isn't like doing anything really, he hasn't got a job, he's not, like, you do not want to have that fucking negativity around you. Now you will become more disciplined. Now, a lot of people will think, okay, discipline is just something that is applicable to the gym, but you've got to understand, right? Discipline is not just something like a David Goggins, like, okay, hey, motherfuckers, like you wake up, you run a ridiculous distance and that's it. No. Like, discipline is every single man in the world requires discipline, because when it comes to, I don't know, maybe one day, like, God forbid this ever happens to any of you boys, but God forbid one day one of your family members gets sick, right? And you, I don't know, don't have the discipline to get yourself down to the hospital to actually visit them for the last time before they pass, because you were too busy eating fucking food, being fat, laying on your fucking sofa, doing nothing, right? That is discipline. Even just, I don't know, picking the kids up from school, right? Like, you might have a family right now, or you might have a family someday. Like, if you have kids, you might not have the discipline, or might have like the willpower to want to go pick them up because you're, I don't know, just chilling out at home. Okay, so because you don't have discipline to go and pick up your kids, you are what, going to leave them at the school? No. This is what I mean, right? Every single area of your life, no matter who the fuck you are, no matter what you want to do with your life, requires discipline. The gym will help you do that, and the way the gym helps you do that is, number one, obviously, it's hard, right? Like, don't get me wrong, it's easy for me now because I've built up that discipline over time, and I'll get into that in a second. The discipline is something you build up, and obviously through the gym you have that delayed gratification of, okay, I'm going to put in the work now, and then later on I'm going to stay disciplined, and later on I'll get the result. Like, I can see like myself improving. This is what it's all about. So having those days where you might not feel like going to the gym, like, but you go instead, that's building your discipline. Having the days where, I don't know, you might be running late for work and you couldn't prep your meals for the day because you haven't got your nutrition plan in place or whatever, and you might, like, you have the two options whether to get a salad from Tesco's or get a McDonald's, which is right next to it. The discipline requires you to go into the Tesco's and have the salad instead, or whatever the fuck it is. So discipline is such an important factor which will go into everything else in your life. So please understand that, because a lot of guys just think, oh, discipline is just something you need if you're an athlete or someone who, I don't know, is a gym goer or something like that. No. Every single man requires discipline, and the gym is one tool you can utilize that's going to help you build that discipline. And it means that all the future challenges you may face that require discipline, it's going to be so much easier for you to sort of go through. Your mental health will significantly improve. The endorphins, obviously, that's a no-brainer. Everyone obviously tells you about how, like, instantly you feel better because obviously you get the endorphin rush. It's true. Like, the mental health is obviously not just the endorphin rush, but as well, going to the gym really does reduce your stress. Like, if you have anger, if you have heartbreak, whatever it is you're going through right now, go to the fucking gym, get a session done, and let me know how you're feeling afterwards, because it's so easy to get into a downward spiral. If you're feeling like shit and like things might not be going right in your life right now, it is so easy to lay in a fucking bed like that one behind me, just fucking curl up into a ball, watch films, eat fucking ice cream, right, and do nothing. It's so easy to do that. But go into the gym, putting that pain or putting that energy into something that's productive, my fucking God, will that help? Because not only obviously you can be left with something by the end which is actually obviously productive and actually good, like you also are putting that energy into something. That energy you have, yeah, it can be put into fucking skipping the gym, not going to work, calling in sick, watching TVs, laying in bed and doing that, or it can be put into getting down to the gym, eating well, going for your steps, doing some running, improving your career, improving your business, and putting that pain into something that's actually productive, right? So you become more attractive. Obviously, we've talked about this already, but that lean muscular physique, obviously, that is just like, but a lot of women will say, okay, we have different types, obviously stuff like that, right? But the archetypal, is it archetypal? Is that right? Or archetypical? I'm not actually sure, but you get what I'm saying. Like the standard sort of dream man, right, for a lot of women is that guy, the guy who is in shape, lean, not like bodybuilder, fucking like, because that's like only some women who are like into the gym. I mean, some women might like a bodybuilder as well, but the large majority is gonna desire after that guy who's lean, who's athletic, who looks strong. Going to the gym is going to help you become that guy. Like, and I mean, I'm not being funny, right? Who wouldn't want to look more attractive? Like, at the end of the day, like if you literally had if you had a button right now you could press. Now I don't know what situation you're sat in, you might be either end of the spectrum, but if you had a button you could press right now, you said, okay, let's either be fat, ugly, like out of shape, like not confident and looking like the worst and not attractive, right? Or you've got the guy on the other end of the spectrum who's lean, muscular, handsome, well-groomed, like all that side of things, right? So you've got two buttons to press right now. There's no work required. There's nothing you've got to do. All you've got to do is press either one button or the other button. I can guarantee you every single fucking man would press the attractive button because they realize what the appeal in being attractive, right? Every man intrinsically knows that, but they just don't put in the work to get to that place. But imagine if you did actually just start putting in some work. You could become that guy. You could become the guy who's attractive, like who's taking care of himself, who's respected, who all the stuff that we're talking about. You could become that guy. All it requires is a bit of work. Now, don't get me wrong, work's hard, yeah, but at the end of the day, like anything valuable doesn't come without a bit of work, a bit of like hardships, something fucking struggle. And that's the whole point of becoming that guy. Like the reason why you have more confidence, the reason why like it's better when you become that guy after going through all this shit is because you know the amount of work that has gone through for you to get to that place. And also everyone else knows the amount of work it took for you to get to there as well. And that's what makes them respect you more as well, because they know you're a guy who cannot be strayed off his vision, who has a fucking goal, who sticks to it and actually works hard to improve his life. That is what people love about you. You perform better at work. Like obviously we talked about the mental clarity, we've talked about how much it makes a difference obviously with your energy, your focus, and obviously that confidence you bring into the work environment, but it will improve your better work. Obviously your productivity is much better. You have that focus, so when it comes to even like delegating or presentations, calls, whatever it is you currently do for your work, like even if you're working in construction or whatever, like it is only going to make things better. You've got to understand this. You set a higher standard for yourself, right? So obviously when you start like getting into the gym and once you've transformed your body, it's harder to accept mediocrity in other areas of life. And now this is fucking so true. Like if you get to a certain stage where you're in shape and you're like really buzzing about obviously where you're at in your life, like how you look, right? You're going to be like, okay, well that's one thing ticked off, right? What else in my life? It builds this momentum, like almost this unstoppable momentum inside of you to want to improve in the other areas of your life. Like you will build that physique and you'll be like, okay, well, I've obviously got the physique now. Now what's next? Like, okay, well, I've got this in my life, I've got this career that I fucking hate. Like, granted, I'm in shape, but I hate this career. If I can get in shape and I can look like this, I can fucking do anything. So let's change that career. It gives you this drive about you like no other. And the reason why, for example, myself, like with business, and the reason why I've managed to sort of exceed and build the business and build a lifestyle that I fucking love, is because I have been training since the age of 13 years old. At 13 years old, when everyone was sort of doing all this other shit, at that point I was in the gym fucking training hard. I was watching motivation YouTube videos. I was grinding. You can literally go on YouTube, well, on this channel, and literally flick back and see me when I was 14 years old. Going through that turned me into the type of man who wanted much more out of life. And I always say my sort of motto with my clients for my coaching and also as well, like my life, is fuck average. Like, why would you settle for average when you want like a good life? Like, the thing that fucking scares me the most is the idea of average is so suffocating and so scary to me. Like, the last thing I want was that. And getting into the gym just instilled that upon me, that I wanted a different way of life, and it will do in you as well. Like, it just gives you that drive about you that just makes you want to achieve more in all areas of your life. You will become more resilient. Now, mate, you are going to have so many challenges in your life as a man, like whether that's, I don't know, with work, whether that's with your health, whether that's with relationships, whether that's with family, whether that's with fucking just the general things in life. Like, the life is hard, especially as a man, and you are going to face so many challenges throughout your life you've got to deal with. If you have been able to build the resilience muscle right as a result of being resilient within the gym, practicing that delayed gratification, it is only going to help you when you face these challenges in life in the future. Like, there's been so many situations when, for example, my car broke down. I had a girl I was seeing at the time. She dumped me. I was 10 to 15k in debt. I was in a fucking bad spot at one point. I literally can remember sitting on the bus, tear fucking rolling down my face, and I'm not normally a guy to cry fucking really, but I literally just had so much anger because I was just like, why the fuck am I here? The thing that got me through that, and the thing that helped me stay resilient in those times where a lot of men would have gone down a downward spiral, the thing that helped me stay resilient was the gym. Because at the time when my car broke down, I couldn't get to the gym at the time, but I did have some weights in my garage. So what I did, instead of moping around, instead of feeling sorry for myself, instead of being like, oh, okay, I can't go to the gym or whatever, instead I went into that garage, I found what equipment I could muster together. I got some dumbbells, a barbell, a resistance band, and like a pull-up bar, and I wrote myself a little workout plan, and I fucking stuck to it, because that was the thing that pulled me through. That was the thing that helped me stay on track and make sure that I kept putting that pain into something, but also that I was staying resilient and I didn't let things sort of knock me back. And the resilience is something that, like, wow, like, in life, if you can have some resilience, if you can have persistence and never get strayed off of a path, and never get sort of, no matter how many failures you have, no matter how many setbacks, how many struggles, you will persist and you will keep pushing forward, keep moving forward, you are going to be a fucking very successful man. And you, in your life, you are going to be very, very, you're going to have a very good life, essentially, because that resilience is just something that is the biggest key to the life that you want. Don't get me wrong, you can have all the talent in the world, right? But if you don't put in the work, you're never going to get to where you want to be. But you could have a guy who's not talented, doesn't have all the fucking cards stacked against him, but if he is resilient and if he is fucking persistent and he never stops, he will outperform the guy who has all the talent. The final thing that I wanted to talk about is you gain full control over your life. Getting in shape is often the first step towards taking ownership of your health, your habits, your finances, your relationships, and your future, ultimately. So the thing is, these days, right, most men just get straight off of a path they want to because of social media. They're constantly flicking through social media, comparing themselves to others and watching all this shit that isn't basically helping their life. They are going to work and getting paid minimal and going to a job they fucking hate. They are literally going through life not feeling confident in their own skin, not feeling like they're a man, but getting shit on by society, by just telling them they're not enough, and that by them wanting to focus on themselves or wanting to become better is somehow toxic masculinity. Like, fuck off. Like, there's so many men out there that are fucking wanting help and actually wanting to improve themselves, but they're just getting numbed down by society. And by taking control of your own life, by getting into the gym, building something you yourself, no one else can build your fucking physique for you. You build your physique. It's the work that you put in which allows you to look a certain way and allows you to have that physique in the end. So it's all on you. But having that control is a fucking good feeling, I can tell you that, because when society, when your careers, when everything's trying to numb you down, trying to control you, trying to keep you a certain way, it's up to you to decide the man that you want to be, and the gym helps you do that ultimately. So it just allows you to have that control over your life, with your habits, with everything. And having that in place, it just gives you that confidence in yourself to know, okay, if I can do this, I can do fucking anything. So yeah, the biggest benefit isn't actually the physique. Like, don't get me wrong, obviously the being healthy, obviously having obviously muscular physique, it does help with life, but the biggest thing is all of the other factors that come with being that guy who has that physique. So hopefully that cleared it all up for you boys. Obviously I realise I don't even know how long I've been filming, but it's probably a long one. But hopefully you can now realise how important it is to focus on your fitness, on your physique, and all of the opportunities it will give you in your life. So yeah, that's all from me. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Boom!